You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Sunday 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 35 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning and welcome into a chilly Friday edition of Inside the Locker Room. 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you'd like to jump in on the show with us this morning. The X accounts at Locker Room 109, at Wimp Sanderson, and at Wimp Sanderson 1, and at Barry Sanderson. Email for the show, Wimp and Barry at yahoo.com. Download that app, the Tide 100.9 app, to your smartphone. You got night game tomorrow with Alabama taking on Oklahoma. So if you're not going to be at the house, it's nice to have that download. You put your AirPods in and listen to Chris Stewart and Tyler Watts and the gang as they travel out to Norman, Oklahoma. If you heard yesterday, Barry Switzer did not seem very high on Oklahoma. I was actually, I'm not surprised that Barry Switzer was honest, but he kind of didn't hold back. It didn't seem like he was fond of what's going on over at Oklahoma. He even said he couldn't even get in the Switzer Center. I guess he could if he needed to. But anyway, if you missed that interview and all our interviews, they are on the podcast center. Before we get started, though, we want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. If you want to build the 5-star backyard, the fence, the deck, the pergolas, only one choice. That would be Yellowwood. How do you find it? You go to yellowwood.com, put that zip code in, and it'll pull up the dealer closest to you. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, then you certainly don't want it. Good morning, Chase. How are you? Good morning, Dad. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're here. A couple of things I think maybe a little bit more important than the scores, but I'll give what scores I have. It's come out with CBS and several of them that inflating or going to 12 teams rather than the 4 has caused much more outrage with the rankings than ever. Where they thought it would be tempered some, it is not tempered at all. It's everybody that feels like they should be somewhere else in the rankings has shown the displeasure with it, and so there's a pretty good stink over that. I would like to say to you that Alabama has 3 players that are out. You have to announce that. Garth Grisman did that. Sam Adams and Robinson. Oklahoma, ladies and gentlemen, have 4 wide receivers that are out. Their best wide receivers out. They have 2 defensive backs that are out. They have 3 offensive linemen that are out. I'm just saying this for our listeners, not for the players, all that crap. 1 offensive lineman that's doubtful, 1 running back that's questionable, and another wide receiver that is questionable. They've had the injury bug quite a bit. Doesn't mean anything. It just all I'm trying to do is just report what people are reporting so that you'll know. I don't know if you're gambling on the game or not. It doesn't really matter to me. Last night, so that shows you it's going to be, that means Oklahoma's going to play harder. So we'll see. Anyway, last night, Georgia Tech got by NC State 30-29 in football. And Boise State is a little bit of a surprise to be in the spot that they're in, according to prognosticators, as far as the pickings are concerned. I just mentioned that. The former Florida quarterback, I think that's right. The former Florida coach, Jim McElwain, is retiring and getting out. Well, I said player, but he's retiring. Oklahoma had a 4-star quarterback, and I think he has an opportunity to think he can play. Now, I don't know if anybody can keep the people off of him, but he has decided to transfer to Florida State. I think that is news for Florida State because they've really been. The other news is an LSU quarterback who everybody thinks is the greatest quarterback ever coming up, has flipped. But I would assume because of their poor play, maybe money, he's flipped to Michigan. So they're all excited about having him. So we'll see. Last night, I'm not going to give you all the scores, but Texas in the league beat Syracuse barely. South Carolina beat Mercer. Oklahoma beat beat somebody, and Ole Miss scored 100 points to beat Oral Roberts. Vanderbilt got by with a 2-point win over Nevada. Vanderbilt team has probably improved some, and Tennessee beat Virginia 8 to 10 points, something like that. So that was some of your scores in the RSM Classic. Davis Riley is 2 under, 8 under is the leader, and so those are things that I've seen. I think the biggest thing is that Oklahoma's got a lot of people out, just for our information, not for the players, of course. But it should be a game that Alabama, if they play hard, play decently, have a chance to win. As I said on the show before, that in the 32 years I was at Alabama, and before that, sorry about the dog, can't help it. And before that, you would play anybody. First of all, you would have a week off. You would play somebody you could stomp, wouldn't play your regular players, and you'd have a week off before you played Auburn. That's the way it was always. The 32 years I was there, it was that way when I was growing up and watching it. So now we go to the A&M game versus Auburn, and the Oklahoma game versus Alabama. So it's quite different as far as who you play prior to the Alabama-Auburn game. You get the quarterback hurt or somebody really hurt, everybody gets all wiggly and upset because they're playing somebody too tough before they play Auburn. So that's all I got, Barry.
Yeah, that Tennessee team, they ended up winning by 22. They look, to me, I'm talking about basketball now, to be maybe the best team in the SEC. It was 64-42 last night. They're big, and you got that little guard back that's seems like he's been there forever. So did you see the way St. John's lost last night?
No, I did not.
St. John's, it went to double overtime. St. John's led early, and Baylor came back, went to double overtime. St. John's is at the line. It's 98-96 with about 6 seconds. And
who's lead?
St. John's up 2. The guys at the line, I'm pretty sure it's a 1-and-1, or maybe hit one. Anyway, they're up 2, and they miss. And Baylor, with about 5 seconds, goes up the floor, and the guy hits a 3. As the ball leaves his hand, there's about 0.3 seconds, and it hits 0 as the ball hits the net. Baylor ends up winning 99. It was on CBS Sports. The night's game, you need to watch it. Tennessee will play Baylor tonight, and Virginia will take on St. John's, Tennessee, and Baylor. It's going to be late, but a great game tonight in basketball. Duke's at Arizona. I think that's a really good game as well. But those games are over. The Tennessee, Virginia, Baylor, and St. John's are over in Nassau, Bahamas, playing a 4-team tournament there. So anyway, Tennessee will take on Baylor tonight, who hit a shot at the absolute buzzer. I watched Vanderbilt in Kentucky and Arkansas. Basically, are 3 teams with brand new rosters, and Vanderbilt looked pretty good. I thought they play fast. They shoot fast. They're 5-0. But these teams, it just kills me with this portal. They can just bring a whole new 13 guys in and still win at a pretty high level. To beat Steve Alford's, the coach at Nevada, they're pretty good for. And so I think these teams that even bring in all new guys are still pretty good teams. Now we'll see when they get to the league. But did you get a chance to see any of Vanderbilt last night?
I saw just a little bit. As we go through our lives and things change athletically, the different ways you play, 3-point shot to come into effect when I was playing. One of the most interesting things that's come into effect, and Barry, I guess Barry knows this, I have no idea, is that if you are tied when the game is over, you went into sudden death. You did not have an overtime, and the sudden death occurred. The first team to make a field goal wins the game, and we played. I forgot if he was an official. I don't know if he ever worked Barry's games or not, but he played for T.M. Rogers, and we tied. We had tied, and it was the game at our place to go to the state tournament. Oh, what a big deal! They got the tip. They went down. A kid named Thompson shot it, and it rolled around the rim, and it looked like it was going and came out. And we went down, and we hit a 2 to win the game. So somebody had texted me about that the other day. I threw the ball inside to our postman who's passed away, and he threw it back out and shot it and went in. So things change as you go along. You know, the way people play, Barry knows all about that. The threes now, football's changed. Coach Bryant was to wake up today and see what they're doing money-wise, he'd faint. So,
yeah, well, how would Coach Bryant feel about, as you mentioned, Bryce Underwood? Of course, he's from Michigan.
Yeah.
And he's been committed to LSU for about 10 months.
Yeah, I know it.
Sharon Moore, the coach for Michigan, goes to Twitter and says, yes, sir, all caps. # Go Blue. The best players in Michigan go to Michigan. Process over prize 25. I don't know what that means. But so we talked about the best players have to stay home. Now, there's rumors out that the best player that Michigan has ever signed, ranking-wise, got $12 million to stay.
What?
Yes, $12 million to stay. So,
well, this just recently.
Well, the word is that Bryce Underwood's NIL package from the Big Blue was $12 million. So, you know, you sit there, you're not having a great year at Michigan. You got plenty of people in there in Michigan with money. We can't lose this kid. We can't lose this kid to Brian Kelly, LSU. All right, how much can we get up? And last week it was rumored that he was going to flip for 10.5, but the number is it went to 12. That's $12 million for this kid to go. Now, if that's true, I mean, you know it ain't free. So the best players in Michigan go to Michigan for $12 million. Why did he add that to the tweet, Chase and Dad? For $12 million, yeah, the best players. So Brian Kelly is getting killed now with the way his football team's playing. And now he's lost this quarterback that he's had committed. Now, when you have Bryce Underwood committed, guess what, Dad? When you go try to recruit any other quarterback, what do they say? I ain't coming there. You got Bryce Underwood coming.
Yeah, I think that guy went to Florida State. Florida State's bad. He won't start.
Yeah, so now LSU's got to kick it back in gear, reverse the car up. All right, who's back out there? Who we want, and how much NIL money do we have? We're going to have to go flip one now because anybody that's probably any good's already committed. So those are the times right now of college football. They backed up the Brink truck. Is that recruiting or buying? What is that called? If you paid them $12 million, what is that called, Dad?
Buying.
Chase, is that recruiting or buying?
That's buying.
He had a price tag on him, right? Like you go to the store, you see something nice and you grab it and you look at it. It's just like when these guys go to these high school games, they see that guy, they say, "Oh, who's recruiting him?" And then based on who they say, you say, we ain't gonna waste our time in there. So now what they're saying is, guys, it's going to be tough to go to Michigan to get the best players out of there because Michigan's willing to pay them. Unless you're willing to get in that game. So the other big game last night, guys, y'all don't even know this. It's a tradition here in Tuscaloosa, the Turkey Bowl. And the Turkey Bowl is Rock Quarry Elementary versus Verner Elementary. And I think it's the 4th and 5th grade. If I'm wrong, somebody text me. And the PE coaches are the quarterbacks. And they had a pep rally out at Rock Quarry the day before. It was packed. They had more people at this game. Of course, Mac had to go. He's 3rd grade. All the kids have to go. And I got home, and Jenny said, "Are you going to the Turkey Bowl tonight?" And I said, "Well, 3rd grade don't play." Well, Mac's wanting to go. All the kids go. I'm like, but he's not playing, and he's not going to sit with us. When we get there, he's going to go sit with his friends. And the lady across the street, the sweetest lady ever, she's got a son that was playing in it, and they offered to take Mac. And Jenny asked Mac, "Well, do you want me to go?" And what do you think Mac said? "Yeah, I want you to go." Yeah. So she felt like she had to go. I was like, "Well, that's you." He didn't ask me if I wanted to go, so I didn't go, and I got in trouble. Is that fair, Dad? Should I got in trouble? He's not even playing. He's not even going to sit with this. It's 40 degrees out there, and I had to watch film. So I got in trouble. I started getting texts. All the other moms and dads are out here. Okay. Well, the moms and dads don't have a tournament coming up. So I got in trouble. But it was a big crowd. And those poor PE quarterbacks, if they don't play well, those parents get mad. And I think Rock Quarry ended up winning by 2 points last night. So they rushed the field over at Northridge. So should I have gotten in trouble for that, guys?
No.
No.
I don't know.
He didn't play. He didn't even play. I said, "Where's Mac?" This is how you knew she was mad. He's with all the other mothers and fathers that came. So he didn't even sit with her. So anyway, the Turkey Bowl, congratulations to Rock Quarry. The trophy goes over to Rock Quarry for the year. Jenny just texted me. They won by 1. Yeah, here's what happened on it. So evidently, Verner scored a touchdown. We're losing every listener we got. And so Verner was going to go for 2, but they didn't do it right. If you pass it, for some reason, you only get 1. You have to run it in to get 2. So they didn't know the rules. They passed it in, and Corey won by 1. So sorry about that, Jenny, that I missed that. So but anyway, big win for Rock Quarry. Tonight, Pisgah. You ever heard of Pisgah, Dad?
Oh, sure. Pisgah got a great player, great 6, 8, 9 player. I tried to recruit him, I think. Yeah, Pisgah had a good player. I can't even call his name. He ended up going to, I believe he went to Auburn.
Well,
Yeah,
Pisgah.
Yeah.
Pisgah, I don't know their record. Josh Wright, if you're listening, text me. Josh Wright, if you want to be on the show right now, you can be on the show at 7:30. Anybody's listening, tell Josh to dial me up or text me, or I'll text him. But Josh Wright is the head coach at Tuscaloosa Academy. They're in the 3rd round, and Pisgah is traveling to Tuscaloosa tonight to take on Tuscaloosa Academy, with the winner going to the semifinals. I think Pisgah is really good in football, is my understanding. So I don't know if I don't think any other local teams are playing. So I had a guy send me a message wanting me to come out and watch the game tonight. I might have to check that weather, see how cold it's going to be. I'm not good in cold weather, guys, out at football games if I don't have kids playing. So anyway, Pisgah and Tuscaloosa Academy play tonight. I know Thompson, a lot of those guys play tonight as well in high school football. High school football goes on forever. You got 3 more weeks of that. So if you had basketball players that play football, good luck. All right, we'll take this first break up the phone lines. But I did want y'all to know that Rock Quarry won the Turkey Bowl. And you have never seen Ryan Lawley, my buddy, who's the football coach at Northridge, he took a picture of the stands. I mean, you thought Alabama was playing over there last night. All right, the phone lines are open, 205-342-9904. 2 Men in a Truck, they're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth. Maybe it's local, out of town, out of state, no problem. Let the professionals handle it. Give them a call today, 205-247-5050. That is 2 Men in a Truck. movers or care. I want people to send me an app message. Should I have gotten in trouble for that? Should I have had to go to that game that my son was not even going to sit with me or play in? Was I in the wrong? All right, go to break, Chase.
Well, I don't.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Legislation is expected next year that would authorize a surcharge on Pickens County car tax to pay for ambulance service. The county slated to lose its lone ambulance on December 1st. An ambulance from Lamar County could be made available, but it would come with a lengthy response time. Go to TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage all throughout the day. It's absolutely free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, same song, different verse. We're looking good on this Friday night. If you're moving about, well, anywhere, you're not going to experience too bad of a delay. On McFarland, that's starting to kick it up a notch on the westbound lanes to Lurleen Wallace, and traveling on Skyland Boulevard. Now, you are going to find
thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Website. See if it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Townsquare Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker. I took pictures of the crowds and I sent it to the pep rally and the game. I put it on my Twitter account, so go check that out. I sent it to Chase. He couldn't believe all the people that were there. All right, I'm a little bit surprised yesterday when we had Barry Switzer on. Not surprised that he cussed 28 times. I had a guy count. He texted me before the interview and he was going to set over under 22. Of course, it went way over, but the way he talked about that football program and kind of what's going on there, I was a little surprised he was that open about his kind of disgust with Oklahoma football. And then when I saw the injury report, the first report came out, but then when yesterday's report came out, that it says their best receiver is out now, what you talked about, but the line has not moved. It's stayed steady there at 13.5. I thought it might jump to 16 or something with this. I mean, why is this line holding at 13.5?
I think because of the history of Oklahoma playing well at home. I think they're just assuming the people in Vegas just assume leave it. I would imagine before this game is played tomorrow to go to 14.5. I think it'll move a point, but I don't think it'll move any more than a point. So I think that's basically the reason. I think also when coaches that have coached football, maybe some basketball, and they've been a big part of everything, and now all of a sudden they're let out of a little part that they had. They get all wiggly and feelings hurt or whatever. And I think to some degree, not that he cares about feelings particularly, he's just got his own personality and that's the way he thought. And I didn't really have anybody else from Oklahoma to get on. And some people love to have him on, but he doesn't. I thought he was okay on the interview except for the cuss words.
Well, he was just pretty open about how sorry Oklahoma was. He was kind of an offensive guy. He liked to have those running quarterbacks and kind of run those read options and all, and had a lot of success, obviously, at Oklahoma. Go ahead.
I was talking also about with you about all those years at Alabama and Auburn would play a weak opponent and then have a week off before they played. I told this story somewhere, and it's true, but nobody can do anything about it. At one point in time, I know for a fact that Alabama, 2 or 3 of Alabama's coaches slipped down to Auburn and watched them practice for that game. I'll never forget that because I was just in awe how the crap they did it. But they did something and slipped down there and watched Auburn practice.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Josh Wright can be on. That's a big game tonight. A lot of people here locally. So we're going to take a break. We'll get him on. They're playing Pisgah tonight. You can talk to him about Pisgah tonight, and I'll send you.
Boy, if I can't, somebody is old and kept up with basketball. Tell me, I know his name as well as I know Barry's, and I can't think. I recruited him. He's 6, 7, 8, 9 or something,
well, he ain't gonna be playing football tonight. Thank gosh for Josh. So 6'9", they just throw it up and he'd go get it. So all right, we'll take the break here. We'll get my man Josh Wright on, and we'll find out about TA and Pisgah, the biggest game in town tonight. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, same song, different verse. We're looking good on this Friday night. If you're moving about, well, anywhere, you're not going to experience too bad of a delay. On McFarland, that's starting to kick it up a notch on the westbound lanes to Lurleen Wallace, and traveling on Skyland Boulevard. Now, you are going to find a
home for Alabama basketball.
Presented in part by BMW of Tuscaloosa and by Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sunny, breezy, and very cool today. The high 52. For tonight, the sky clear. Many spots will see a freeze early tomorrow morning, the low at 32. Tomorrow and Sunday, sunny both days. A warming trend. The high tomorrow 58. The high Sunday 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 37 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Michael sends an app message in. Asked whether I should have been in trouble for not going to Turkey Bowl last night. Whether you should have gone or not is irrelevant. What matters is that you didn't go and you are in trouble. You should know better. You know the saying, if mama ain't happy. Come on, Michael. You're supposed to trade in your man card. You're supposed to be taken up from me. Dad, Tim Horton, before we get to Josh, he emailed the show and he said, Pisgah had the Tinker brothers back in your dad's day as an assistant at Alabama. Billy and Wally Tinker.
Oh, yeah.
Both played at Auburn.
Yep, they're good players, too.
All right, we'll get to
wasn't a big guy, but the Tinker brothers were very good.
All
Yeah,
right,
correct.
they were basketball players, correct?
Yes, sir. They were.
Right.
They were very good.
All right, so we'll get to the Yellowwood hotline. The football coach out of Tuscaloosa Academy. They're going to build a statue after this guy, guys. And if you coach basketball over there, half your team or more plays football, and then by the time his season ends, you get like one practice and the season starts. So it's not good to be a basketball coach over there if you want to have your team ready for your first game. Coach Josh Wright. Good morning, Coach. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning.
Good morning, Coach Sanderson. Good morning, Coach.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Good. Just headed to school, taking my daughter to school, and hoping to have a smooth day today.
They make you hang out to school the day of a game. Don't they? Should let you stay home and work on the game plan, Josh.
No, man. I'm just going to go do what I'm supposed to do.
Josh is probably driving the bus somewhere today for some. Tell us about Pisgah before we talk about your team. I know it's the third round of the playoffs. they got a great football tradition. Tell us a little bit about their football team.
They got like you said, a great football tradition. Football is king up there. Coach Luke Pruitt does a phenomenal job up there. They're well coached. Those guys, they play the game so hard. They've got great players. Their quarterback, Luke Gilbert, who's a Division I athlete. We played against him last year. Actually knocked their quarterback out in the second quarter last year, and they put him at quarterback. And that made a big difference. So he's definitely somebody you got to look at. They've got a couple, some great complementary players around him. They're very physical up front. So it's going to be a great, huge challenge, like it's supposed to be in the third round.
Sure.
So,
well, you got a pretty good quarterback yourself. I saw a graphic y'all put out the other day. He's thrown for over 10,000 yards, I guess, and I don't know how many years he's been the starter over there. I know at least 3. Talk a little bit about Preston Lancaster. I know he's got a lot of good weapons. I think you've added some guys there. You even got a little guy that came over there to play basketball that playing pretty good receiver. Ellis Hammeter is playing pretty good receiver for you. I see his mama.
And Coach, you coach Ellis. What a great competitor he is.
Sure.
He does everything that, a lot of guys you have to ask to do. He just does it,
Yeah.
So, but no, Preston is everybody that's watched us knows we go as he goes. And he's a great competitor. He's a very humble kid, very shy, don't talk a lot, but, he's a great athlete. He's a bigger kid, but, he's a great baseball player. He can shoot basketball, even though he's not playing, but, golf, things just come natural to him. And like I said, he really, this offseason, did a great job of getting his body in great shape and lost, a lot of weight and gained some muscle. And, the benefits have paid off this year.
Yeah. You got any advice for Josh with Pisgah coming in tonight? Big tradition?
No, I don't. Pisgah's up in the mountains, East Alabama, and they had somebody said some good basketball players. They weren't into football much when I was trying to recruit back years ago, but should be the way you talk a good game.
Yeah, Josh. You guys bring in some portable stands for tonight. You got a big crowd out there tonight. Tell us kind of what's going on with that.
Yes, sir. We hope we have a great crowd. It's football weather, and being really the only game around. Hopefully we'll draw some interest. From other schools and other people. Just want to come out and watch a good high school football game. I know Pisgah, the whole town will be shut down. You go up there on the mountain Friday. There's 2 things that are full: Friday night stands and Sunday at church. Yeah.
If you're a robber,
there won't be nobody left at Pisgah.
If you're a robber, that might be a good place to go tonight, Pisgah, because there won't be anybody there.
There won't even be the police there.
The police will be here. Talk about a few of your other guys before we let you go. I know you got maybe a new receiver in there. You got some defensive guys that have had great years for you, great careers really for you over there.
Right.
And you guys have done a nice job transitioning from AISA to 2A football. I think last year you went, all the way to the semifinals. You can correct me on that, but maybe
quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Put us out.
Yep.
Yes,
Talk a little bit about a couple of your other guys there before we let you go.
Well, we got, of course, Preston, but at our receiving core this year with Ken Arago, who's, been our leading receiver in yards. Ellis Hammeter has been our leading receiver in catches. And then you've got, which Caleb Callgrove was third at the time, but Caleb has had an injury that has sidelined him for the rest of the year, which is devastating for us and him. And it's just one of those freak accidents that just hate it for him. He's a great kid. But, after that, we got Matthew Atkins stepped in, done a great job. Mills Turnip Seeds done a great job. Martin Norris. These guys can catch the ball. and we have a little depth there. Taylor Thompson's done a good job at running back. Him and Mason Corder. Our offensive line, Coach Stockton's done a great job with them. They've gotten a lot better with Bennett Atkins at center, Aiden Kelly at guard, Haston Crawford, a big tackle, and Patrick Stale in his second year of starting. And, and then defensively, we led by Ford Beaker and Harwood, his brother, are both our leading tacklers. And they play great together inside. Ever Sykes had a great year. And up front, Jamarian White and Shayla Hill and Hunter Burleson, on our defensive line, done a great job. And Reagan Barnett plays a lot down there. But in the secondary, Russell Cole, Hudson Powell, Isaac Edmondson, and Mills Turnipseed have done a phenomenal job.
So, you notice how he had to reel every one of them off, because if he left one off, Mama would be mad.
He'll get some phone calls.
He didn't say that about my son. And of course, you put a coach on the spot. If he don't have a piece of paper in front of him that has all the names on there, then you get yourself in trouble. If coach forgot somebody's name, guys, it's not. I know how it can be over there sometimes. It was not personal. I'm sure he knows your son has been a big help there. Well, how do people get tickets? I'm sure is it on GoFans at 7:00 kick? Tell us the details of if anybody wants to come out.
Yes, sir. It's 7:00. It's you can pay cash or go to GoFans. So I think at 5:30 we're having a tailgate out there at the baseball pavilion with a band.
Oh,
so people can come out there early, and we won't be out there, but I mean, fans.
Can you give me a free ticket, Josh? Can you give me a free ticket?
I'll work on it. All
right. Well, Josh, we hadn't talked in a month or two, but I've been following you. I always follow you. You know how much I respect you and your football program there. So good luck. We'll be pulling for you tonight. I appreciate you coming on at short notice.
Well, thanks, Josh.
I appreciate it, Barry, and congrats on you and your season starting. I know y'all doing great. And thanks, Coach.
Okay.
All right, good luck.
Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's football family. His brother, Dad's the head coach at Murray State now, and his dad was a great coach down in Pickens. So it's big. The Wright's big football family here, and Josh does a good job. So nothing like high school football. He's right, Dad. The whole town of Pisgah will be in Tuscaloosa tonight, won't they?
Yeah, will they? Yeah, it'll be cleaned out up there.
Yeah.
There'll be one guy walking around guarding everybody.
Yeah, Barney Fife be walking around there with his bullet in his pocket, just patrolling the streets, make sure everything's. Where is Pisgah?
It's in the northeast corner of, I think it's the east now, northeast corner of the state up near Scottsboro, up in that area. I think that's right.
There you go. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll open up the phone lines, 205-342-9904, but nothing like high school football. Preston Lancaster has had a great career, so he's a senior there, so he's worth going out and watching. He can sling it. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, same song, different verse. We're moving with a purpose on the Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets. Only minimal delays in a couple of spots. Stillman Boulevard starting to pick up a little volume. And this is right here. It's, actually at 15th Street, that merger. And then we're not doing so.
In stock 2025 Nissan Sentra with 30 available, plus every 24 Kicks and Versa in stock. Don't wait. These units will fly away from Townsend Nissan.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside.
Is the place to be. Visit us now to save big and discover why so many are switching to BMW. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sunny, breezy, and very cool today, the high 52. For tonight, the sky clear. Many spots will see a freeze early tomorrow morning, the low at 32. Tomorrow and Sunday, sunny both days, a warming trend. The high tomorrow 58, the high Sunday 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 37 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Find Tide on Twitter at Tide109 to keep up with show announcements, guests, and our reporters in the field.
Pressure through the time from Great Southern. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer closest to you. And always remember, guys, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it. I got an email here from Nick talking about the kid going flipping from LSU to Michigan. He says, I don't care if the number is 10 million or 12 million. NIL was not meant to be pay for play. And it's absolutely idiotic that someone would commit that type of money to a 17 or 18-year-old who hasn't played a down of college football. College sports is broken. Agree that or disagree with that?
I totally agree. Yep, I agree with you. I think it's broken bad. We've got lawyers who tried to explain all of this when they started doing it. I don't even think these lawyers that think they're so smart had any idea it was going to come to this. I know that things have changed. I don't like the transfer portal, but I mean that's the way things have changed. But I just feel like that even the people who supported the beginning of these kinds of things, you know, I'm talking about Jay Billis and all that bunch, they're going to talk around it right now. They're going, if it's been your son, so and so and so, they're going to still take up for themselves what they said. But it's just he's text you. He's right on it, no doubt about it.
Yeah, all right. We have some Brent Venables sound here. Now, Chase says the opening's just, how long was that opening? He says very long. Too long. All right, let's go to clip 4 where he talks about the game plan and the scouting report for this Alabama offense. Obviously, Brent Venables is a defensive guru, or thinks he is. He was at Clemson. I know that for sure. And Dad, you're not crazy about defense coordinators becoming head coaches.
Not quite as much. But I have to remember now that it's the personality of the guy who gets the job. I shouldn't overemphasize it like that. I just think that probably offensive coordinators have excited the crowds that start following their team. Tennessee's a great example. Once they get the job, more so than A&M coach has, who's a defensive genius.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead, Chase. Play clip 4, the game plan and scouting report for this Alabama offense. Here's Brent Venables, Oklahoma's coach.
It's going to be so intriguing in this game.
Yeah, incredibly explosive, and they have great playmakers everywhere. Certainly, everything goes through the quarterback, but they have it at offensive line play. They're really good up front. They know what they're doing. They're making everything work, and then the running backs are fantastic. They got home run hitters, real strong, physical running backs that do a great job at running behind their pads, a massive O-line that is really good at opening big gaps for people, and then fantastic explosive receivers and tight ends that can get behind you, and they have tremendous catch radius. Just, they can catch it in traffic, make something out of nothing, make competitive plays. So it's all a challenge. And top 10 on offense and defense and scoring offense and scoring defense. They're playing great football right now. They've obliterated their last 3 opponents and just run right through them. And they lost 2 one-score games on the road. And they've beaten, I believe, 5 bowl-eligible teams. They've beaten some really good teams, been in some really tough games and found ways to win and come up short in a couple games. But it's a team that's improved from where they were at the beginning of the year to where they're at now. But, man, you're not going to look up, and win this game. It's about physicality. It's about execution. Certainly the run game and the quarterback containing him, if you will, preventing him from having a career-type day is paramount. But they've been really opportunistic. I think they've given it away 11 times. They've created 24 turnovers, maybe 15 in their last 3 games. So they're really starting to play well within their systems and starting to play really aggressively. I know several players on their roster that I'm familiar with through the recruiting process, both here at Oklahoma and prior to coming here to Oklahoma. I had their middle linebacker, number 11, and Jihad Campbell was a guy that had committed at Clemson. But they've got a really talented roster. They're getting starting to play really, really well. And we're going to have a great challenge. But, something that we've been really good at this year, to your point, something that they've really been fantastic in. And so those 2 things are going to meet, on Saturday night.
Just comments on what he said.
Well, I think because they gave him a 6-year contract, you don't hear the talk about him the way you hear it at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
At Florida, prior to this last announcement that Florida made that we're keeping our coach, the 6-year contract has completely shut that down at Oklahoma, which is best, I think. And the reason I think that's best is Oklahoma has to be able to be in this league, has to be able to recruit the state of Texas and make the right selections and be able to find the people that can play for them. I think that's critical. Sometimes when you are beat up the way I think they are, because Garth Lissman has made them announce, who can play and who can't, and they put out the bunch that said out. Sometimes your opponent, with Alabama's the opponent, get overconfident. I don't know that they do. They probably don't. I'm probably dead wrong, but there are teams that do, and they don't have their self quite ready to play because they feel like after reading that stuff and looking at their record and being kids, they don't get ready to play. So I think it's a mental game for Alabama.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to the next clip there. Big games, players get emotional in big games, and I think for both teams, it's a big game. Big game for Oklahoma, kind of, going into next season and trying to help in recruiting, and it'll be a national game. Everybody's watching. Alabama, obviously, we know what's on the line there. They asked Brent Venables how to handle players' emotions for a big game. Here's what he had to say about that.
Just emotionally as a club. Well, again, nobody is. Listen, the fans should be disappointed, but I can promise you these players and the coaching staff are incredibly disappointed. But that doesn't mean that our spirit's broken. And that's what I've seen, a strong-spirited team that's invested too much. You don't just give in here, in the 11th hour. Man, this is a group of guys that still believes I've got to do a good job of showing them, again, where's the improvement been? What is holding us back? Is it that y'all stink and your coaches are terrible and we should get rid of everybody and tear the whole place down? Like probably some people think, and the opinions are what the opinions are. But my job is to recognize where there has been improvement, where we had our opportunities to win, and what the game, again, winning doesn't negotiate, okay? And when you don't do the things that winning requires, you lose. And so if we can get just a little bit better in a couple of spaces, then we'll get a better result. And so I think our guys are a group of guys that the buy-in's too strong, the leadership's too strong, the investment's been too strong, and they've come too far I think they know that they can be a great example for what fight and what belief and what finishing and what improving and proving people wrong, what it looks like. And I think this is a group of guys that are committed to doing that.
Now, when I hear him talk and I hear Barry Switzer talk, I say, oh, my gosh, Alabama's going to kill them. When I hear him talk, I sound like a football team is going to be ready to me.
Yeah, Barry Switzer is just what I said. Somebody's been on the outs, looking back. The guy those are honest. I think the guy's an honest evaluator. I think he's a good football coach. I think he presented it that way. People will listen. And no, he's just listening to the naysayers. We just got to be ready. I thought that was very good.
Yeah.
And I think he's a very good person. And I think Oklahoma was going to have to fight to be be as good as Texas and all that crap. And they need to be better than Arkansas for sure. So I think you're right. I think they'll be ready to play. Whether that's enough or not, I have no idea.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the break.
8226 800-559-8226.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Cleveland Browns beat Pittsburgh Thursday night 24-19 in the snow and wind. Temperature in the low 30s. Nick Chubb with 2 short touchdown runs, including the game winner with about a minute left. Pittsburgh had back-to-back touchdowns in the fourth for the lead, but got stopped on 4th and short twice earlier in the game. 5-star quarterback recruit Bryce Underwood committed to the University of Michigan, flipping from LSU. He's from Belleville, Michigan. In the American League MVP voting, it was unanimous for the Yankee slugger Aaron Judge. Finishing second was Kansas City's Bobby Witt Jr. It was unanimous in the NL tally as well. The MVP is Dodgers DH Shohei Ohtani. The Mets' Francisco Lindor finished second. The NBA late game went to Orlando, ending the Lakers' 6-game winning streak, 119-118. Franz Wagner with 37 points, 11 assists, and the game-winning 3-point try. Charlotte, in overtime, edged Detroit.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Andrew Knipper will help us kick off this 8 o'clock hour. Andrew is my Allstate insurance agent. Let him become yours out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. Give him a call today, 205-722-9201. Andrew will take absolutely great care of you. He does the same for me. All right. Got an app message here from, I guess I can report this. It says Gordo coach Gus Smith resigned. Gordo looking for a new head coach. So there you go. So maybe we'll get Justin. Maybe Justin will be the coach out at Gordo. But all right, get to the Andrew Knipper hotline and get Tim into the show. Good morning. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Tom. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Barry. Good morning, Coach. How are y'all?
Good. How are you, Tom?
We're here.
I'm good. Well, I wanted to talk about the NIL subject that y'all brought up a while ago. And, of course, the quarterback flipping from LSU to Michigan with Barry said $12 million, which I have no doubt that that's not true. And but, Coach, some of these people that were proponents of let them go where they want to go and let them get what they can make. This is a free country. This is a capitalist society, and you can't put restrictions on anybody, even if they are a minor. And you can't do this, you can't do that. You got to let them go. I wonder if any of those people have any remorse about some of the things they said now that we're into this complete chaotic world of college football or college sports.
The ones that I know do not. What they end up doing is they try to now explain to you about things the way they are now and how that's okay. They would not go back on what they have said originally. But that's the way most lawyers are. They're not going to go back and say, "Boy, I tell you one thing, I didn't have any idea it was going to come to this." They don't do that. So to answer your question, the ones I've talked to, I haven't had Jay on before. I think Jay's a very good announcer. I think your point's well taken, but I don't think the ones who think they're really, really smart, that this is a freer society, that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, and all that baloney,
right.
Is not correct. I mean, is correct.
And if somebody like Nancy May stands up and says something about what most sane people think is an obvious assessment on it, oh, well, they're crazy. You're the one that's crazy. But, back to this NIL thing that we're talking about here, you're exactly right. I just, these people that have these platforms and then they don't recognize what the problem is, I don't guess they view it as the destruction of a great institution and a great sport.
No, they don't. It's not, go ahead, Barry. I'm sorry.
I think one of the things that people would say to you, Tom, is that it's the NCAA's fault. They should have got a hold of this a long time ago, and so they let it get to the courts, and these guys should have been able to make money on NIL. So the way now that it's gotten out of control is because they didn't get it under control soon enough. Now, there may be some truth in that, and I think it's out of control.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But also, though, how many times have we got to cross a bridge in life on different situations before we learn the lesson of just, wait a minute, take it easy, let's think this thing through a little more, because of the factor of unintended consequences. You know what I mean? Are we really capable of seeing all that we need to see to make the correct decision? I say we're not.
It comes down to the whole thing, from A all the way to Z. We want, in their minds, a free society. If we have a free society, everybody gets to do what they want to. They can carry a gun in their back pocket. They can do as they wish. Now, you may not. If people only knew, I was with a lawyer last night, and if people only knew what would have happened to their money tax-wise if we had somebody else get into it. Whether you like this new president or not, I don't care. But I'm telling you right now, this guy explained it would have been brutal had we had the wrong election there. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with people trying to decide what we need to do. With Barry's got a young kid, and he'll be dealing with that all growing up in different ways, and I don't anymore. But it's the free society part is fine. Everybody wants freedom, but by God, I'll tell you one thing: there's certain things that need to be looked at.
Hey, Tom, you're an Alabama football fan, right?
That's right.
All right, so when the end of this season comes, if they lost Ryan Williams over money, would you be mad?
Well, I'm going to be disappointed, but what can I do about it?
Okay, let me take it a step. Would you be disgusted if they had to pay him the going rate? Let's say somebody offered him $3 million and Alabama had to match it. Would you want Alabama to match it or let him go? I don't know what I would. Would you want him to match the $3 million or let him go?
I do.
What would you want?
I want him to be at Alabama. And if we got the money to pay him, I want him to be here. I'm probably stupid, but I do.
I want the guy next door with all the money to pay it off. I would.
That's a serious question, because now Brian Kelly's going to get killed for losing this kid to Michigan. Now, I don't know if it's $12 million. That's what Twitter's saying, or X, whatever you call it. But so I don't know whether that's true or not. But it was probably something. And so does Brian Kelly deserve to be killed over them losing a Michigan kid to Michigan over money? I mean, what's Brian Kelly supposed to do?
Well, I agree with that. I just don't, what? Can he control what Michigan does? I mean, I say no. It's not up to him to control. He cannot control what Michigan will.
But they're going to hold it against him. They're going to hold it against him.
I know, yeah. Yeah, they will. I guarantee you. And we probably would too at Alabama. I don't know. Do I want Ryan Williams to be at Alabama? Yeah. Does $3 million seem like a fair price? Well, I don't know that. I don't know all that. But I want him to be at Alabama.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.
All right. Tom's in a wind tunnel.
He wasn't at home.
Yeah, he was certainly. If he's at home, he ain't sleeping in that home. All right, back to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get Philip in. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, guys. I'm just not able to tune in, so I've missed the entire show. So if I'm bringing up a topic you've already discussed, I apologize.
Let me help you out. You hadn't missed anything, Philip, other than us talking about the Turkey Bowl.
The Turkey Bowl.
Yeah.
The Turkey Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bring up the subject of signing day in December. I believe it's what is it? December is it the 8th?
I'm not sure. It's right there, and then the portal opens up 2 days after the Auburn game. I do know that.
Right. Okay, so I've got a prediction, Barry, based on everything that's sort of happening right now, especially with this kid that's got this unreal offer to sign with Michigan. I think signing day may be sort of strange. I think there may be a lot of commitments not signed on signing day all over the nation.
Meaning they're holding out?
Yes.
For the highest bidder?
Yes, sir.
Now, you can get away with that if you're a top recruit. Now, if you're a borderline guy, you better go and get those papers signed. But if you're a top guy, yeah, you could hold out and you could go late. But most of these guys are trying to get somewhere in January, so they can't hold out too long if they want to get there in January because most of them graduate early, which to me I think is ridiculous. Make them stay their whole senior year, but that's not what happens anymore.
Well, and Barry, I don't want to say that Alabama started that enrolling early thing. I want to say the first school that I really became astutely aware of as far as letting kids enroll earlier was when Phil Fulmer was at Tennessee, and he had a defensive back that I believe he signed that enrolled in December, and it was an odd thing. It was the first time we'd ever seen that as college football fans. So I believe Tennessee may have been the pioneer in that, but Alabama's certainly falling right in line.
Yeah, and I think these kids feel like they get behind if they don't get in here early, so they figure out how to get that schoolwork done, graduate, and be gone. So there'll be a lot of turnover as these coaches are working on playoff games and SEC championships, and maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe the portal opens the Monday after the SEC championship. Check that for me, Chase. I think I said
believe
that
that's
wrong.
right.
Yeah. So still, that's not long. I mean, that's
that's not long.
So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I just think there's going to be a lot of chaos here coming up with signing day that we were not expecting.
Well, with money involved, sure, because people like Michigan, they're not having a good year. You got an in-state kid. He's the highest-ranked player ever if he goes to Michigan, so they figure out a way to get it done. It's not recruiting. It's buying. That's what it is, Philip.
It's buying. Yeah. He's not recruiting anybody. Sharon Moore's not recruiting anybody. His donors are buying players.
Yeah. And his fan base will be happy if he's really good.
Sure they will, and if he's able to get all those guys, then he should turn it around.
Yeah, no doubt. All right.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Philip. All right, we're going to take the break here. We'll see if we can get old Coach Sonny Smith in. We'll play my favorite song of the week. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It has been a lovely Friday for you thus far, and it just keeps going. Now, we do have some intersection slow-goes here and there, but nothing too extreme. We got Lurleen Wallace on the northbound lanes to McFarland. That is a little on the slower side, and it is going to take you back to 26.
At 3:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Presented by the Birmingham Racecourse and Casino, I-459, exit 31. You could be a winner, too.
Crimson Tide Today is presented on Tide 100.9, WTBC 1230 by BMW of Tuscaloosa. Online at bmwoftuscaloosa.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. Its daily update on Bama sports and is brought to you by Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant. It's now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. After Alabama's 187 win over Illinois on Wednesday, head coach Nate Oates met with the media.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're going to win a lot of games. They're super skilled. You know, we got some contributions from some guys maybe that weren't expected. 4 threes from Grant, which was huge. But, LeBaron continues to play well. Pushing a triple-double with 9 assists, 1 turnover. He's 16, 9, and 7. So he's stepped up in our 2 high major games. He's looked pretty good so far.
Go back to the beginning of the game. You guys are 5 for 6 from the three-point line. Can't miss from deep. But looking over at the bench, you didn't seem to be too pleased with the defensive effort at that time, but you guys picked it up on that end.
Yeah, no, I mean, at one point I don't think we'd missed. We'd hit 4 threes, I think. And
I'll have more in a moment.
Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers, an Alabama tailgate tradition. Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965, Guthrie's has been a Bama fan favorite for years. From your hometown to college towns all around, Guthrie's is still serving the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe just like always, fresh, hot, and fast. Make Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers the MVP of your next tailgate. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We've got you covered for Alabama football on Saturday against Oklahoma. Our coverage from Norman starts at 3:30 p.m. Central, which you can listen to on the radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as the Yay Alabama Booth Cam, streaming live on all CTSN social media platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Crying to the bedroom, I ran off to the bar. Another piece of heaven gone to hell. The words we spoke in anger just tore my world apart. And I sat there feeling sorry for myself. Then an old man sat down beside me and looked me in the eye. And he said, son, I know what you're going through.
Welcome back to Inside. I just had to let that play up there. Anything we can talk about. All right, Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. Look at the new inventory, pre-owned inventory. Schedule a service. Rent a Toyota. You can do it right there at the website, TuscaloosaToyota.com, or swing by Skyland Boulevard. See David, see Justin, and tell them that Wimp and Barry sent you. All right, with that great song right there, we'll get right to our coach. Coach Sonny Smith, NABC District 8 Coach of the Year, Ohio Valley Coach of the Year, 2-time SEC Coach of the Year, CAA Coach of the Year, Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. They'll be hanging his name in the rafters in Neville Arena next month. Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
He's your coach. He ain't mine.
He's my coach.
You make Wimp mad every time you do all that, Barry.
Friday.
Makes
He
him
gets
jealous.
mad at Fridays.
Yeah, he does.
Let me tell you this.
He's in the Hall of Fame in, what's the name? North Fork, Alabama, someplace.
Yeah, Muscle Shoals Hall of Fame.
Muscle Shoals. Oh, yeah, Muscle Shoals. That's where he is. I'll tell you one thing.
He can't hear me.
What'd you say, Wimp?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you just barely. It's a little different today.
Well, turn up your cotton-picking volume.
He said turn up your hearing aid.
Me or you?
You. I can hear you.
The referees, they tell me, are glad that you're not calling any more games.
What referee would told you that? Which one of those crooks would have told you that?
They said Auburn made some fouls, and they called them, and you announced that they were cheating, and that Auburn never made any fouls.
No, not really. Auburn never gets a break from the officials. They're all Alabama people. I don't understand that. How did you folks put out all the referees in Alabama?
Well,
all you that graduated there got season tickets.
Let Barry answer that one. I don't know.
You put that one on Barry.
Yeah, let Barry answer that one.
I got a technical the other night, Coach. Guy just plowed my guy over and didn't call the charge. It was like 3 minutes into the game. So I screamed.
Really?
Yeah, I screamed. If an official knows the call was questioned when a coach gets mad, shouldn't they this warn you? He called a technical, and I got mad about the technical, and he was getting ready to call another one, and the other official said, "Don't do that," because I was going to get thrown out. And I was going to get home early that night, but
you were.
Yeah, I was going to get home real early. So the guy called me Wimp Jr. Is that a compliment?
Did he do that?
Yeah.
Oh, Barry.
Is that a compliment?
I'd be looking for a name change if I was you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I would too.
All right, Coach. We got a big football game down there this weekend. That's your chance to finally win an SEC home game. Tell me what's going on down on the plains. Auburn takes on the Aggies of Texas A&M. What do you think?
It's the first time. This is the first coach I believe that's ever been here, or else it's my hearing or my age, that doesn't catch a lot of flack. You would think way Auburn fans have been over the years that they would be all over him, wanting a change and that type of thing. But you just don't hear that type of thing. Excuse me, I'm talking about the ordinary, not the ordinary fans, the fans that I'm around all the time. You don't hear them cutting him up and shooting him up and spitting him out like you would normally in a situation like this.
Yeah. Right up.
When those two guys fought on the plane, and y'all had to turn around the plane, I don't know what would happen if you'd been going to Maui. Y'all couldn't have landed the plane because it's 8 hours of water. But 8 hours of water.
He's hoping again. He's hoping
what you need to do, be sure when y'all go to Maui and y'all are going, is to be sure and get your plane that's got water skis on it or that lands on
I might put those.
I'm going to pass that on to them. I'm sure they'll take that into consideration.
I might put those two on another flight before y'all leave California.
Yeah, they got them. They're going to Maui on play, and they got those planes that land on water. And if they get in a fight this way, you're pretty safe.
Yeah. You know what? I'll call the athletic department when we get off, and I'll recommend that to them the next time that comes up.
They were fighting over potato chips. Is that true? Or pork rinds? One of them wanted barbecue, and the other guy wanted sour cream or something. They were fighting over pork rinds. Is that what they did?
I think they were fighting over playing time.
Oh.
Playing time. Hey, they're playing on which one of us is never going to get any playing time.
Now, that thing just kind of got swept under the rug. Bruce Pearl didn't answer anything, and just kind of went away. So he did pretty good at managing that.
I don't think I think it would have gone farther if anything had happened. It's more of a verbal altercation than anything else. There was nothing else involved in it, so I think the pilots decided it'd be best to go back and land the plane and start again, and I think that's the way it happened. I don't think there was any licks struck or anything like that.
After that Houston game, they were on the bench sitting next to each other, and they were holding hands.
Yeah, that's the way our players. We're taught to let things go. Bygones be bygones. So you should have taught that.
It's family. Y'all are family over there.
Yeah, family. That's it, Barry. I couldn't think of the word.
All right. All kidding aside, Auburn is going over there. What a field, Coach. You should said, look, I'm going to retire after I go to Maui. You should squeeze this trip in. You got Memphis and UConn and Colorado and Michigan State in the top bracket. In Auburn's bracket, Auburn, Iowa State, and Dayton, and North Carolina. So Iowa State, Auburn. That's probably the best matchup of the day over there, and there's some good ones. Iowa State will guard you. Thank goodness they didn't have to go to Ames, Iowa. They're going to get to play them in Maui. But talk a little bit about that Auburn-Iowa State game on Monday.
Well, I don't know anything about Iowa State. I know Jim Hallahan, who used to be my assistant, was there at one time, and he thinks it's a great basketball job. So I assume it's an easy place to recruit to, and I assume they're going to be pretty good every time out. But I don't know anything about them from the standpoint of how tall they are, how big they are, and how much they're winning. But Auburn has a really good basketball team. I think they can go up against anybody, and the reason I say that is because I haven't seen the depth on the team be as strong as it is right now. Now, how good we are overall from the standpoint of our players matched up against theirs, I don't know about that. I do know this. This is a strong team because of the depth, and the depth has been positive at this point. He can play a lot of players, and I think this is going to be a good Auburn team.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, have a whole lot to say to you. I know they're having something for you on the 8th of December. It's an 11 o'clock game. And
they won't have it early because they won't have to park but 2 cars that way.
No, I'm hoping to be there. I've got a little problem.
Are you coming?
I'm trying to. I'm trying to work it out to come.
Bless your heart.
And I'm doing everything I can.
You've always been my favorite. Tell him that, Barry.
I got a talk with John. John Cohen called me, and I said, now, we're going to have to record something before we get there. But I said, now, I ain't coming in there to say something nice about Sonny. John said, well, I think that's the way
I'll give you the date. I think it's November the 9th.
Yeah, December 9th.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And it's 11 o'clock game. And I said, now, John.
It's going to be at 8 at night, right, son, Coach?
Really?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever I need to change it to, I will. Just keep him at home.
I said, John, I'll be there at 9:30. And I get places early. And I said,
hey, if you need any help in saying good things about me, I'll give you a few things just so you'll remember.
I write down some things because I used to drive you around where you go to Huntsville Quarterback Club. By the way, we hadn't been invited this year.
Coach, where do you think he should park when he gets there, Coach?
They get me.
I tell you what, I think he should park the car and never drive again. I never rode with anybody that gave me hemorrhoids every time I rode with him. He scared me so bad.
So you don't have a special parking spot for him?
Well, of course.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm gonna park him in Lochapoka and have him ride him in on a mule.
Who will park closer to Neville Arena, Sonny Smith or Wimp Sanderson?
He's the best I've ever seen. He's the best.
He might park.
We pulled into a restaurant in Birmingham one time, and the line was down around all the cars. You couldn't even get close to it. He walked right up to it, walked in the front door, and took us right in and put the table. The man knows people.
Yeah. And
there's no fear.
And y'all ducked your head and walked right in with him, act like you were ashamed.
I was in Russia somewhere, Sonny, one time, and I was with Dave Oldham, and they was going to see some kind of crap in Russia, one of these somethings or another, and the line was around the parking lot, down the street. And I said, "Come on, Dave."
Did you do that? No, in Russia.
Yeah, in Russia or somewhere. I don't know, it was overseas.
Well,
I said, "Come on, Dave."
All I can say about that, Barry, is he would fit in well in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've already talked about Auburn football. You talked about Auburn basketball. How's Jan?
Well, she's getting by. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I never can get much information from you about
Well, she's not good. Let's put it that way. Not good.
Way. I'm sure sorry.
Not good. Not good.
Both of us are struggling in that.
Yeah, I know. So I know. I really appreciate that, fellas.
Anything else you want to tell Barry? Barry may have some tight
Hey, Coach, we beat the 6'10" guy. We beat him. He only scored 12 on us last Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, your defensive game plan worked. Yeah, he only made 3 field goals against us. He's the number one player in Mississippi, or supposedly. If he's the number one player
Number
in Mississippi.
one player in Mississippi.
If he's the number one player in Mississippi. It ain't a very good year in
What'd you
Mississippi.
do? Did you put one of the defensive ends? I showed you the one that went.
He was one of those 6'10" guys that like to hang out the 3-point line. So, staying out there, and he hit one. He took about 5. I don't know.
And how tall was he?
6'10".
6'10".
Yeah, he's 6'10".
I don't believe that coach going to be there next year playing him out on the perimeter.
Mississippi State was there watching him. And I need to call George Brooks and see what he thought. Of course, they'd already signed him at that point. But you know who was there was Eric Dampier was there.
I remember Eric. I remember him well. What a player.
His son goes to a private school up in Jackson. He is a 9th grader. He's 6'11". He's the number one player in the country, and he is good.
Really?
Yeah, his name's Eric Dampier. So look out. This kid is.
Look out. I remember old Eric. He was a player also.
I think I tried to recruit him.
Eric Dampier was on that Mississippi State team that went to the Final Four that we took Little Rock in there and beat. I didn't want to tell him that when I talked to him in the hospitality room.
No, keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself.
We had Derek Fisher.
Yeah, so they went to the Final Four. I asked him about Jay Walton, and but his son is wow, his son player. He'll be.
How's Jay Walton doing, Barry?
I think he's doing good.
He's in Nashville.
Yeah. So
Jimmy Taylor asked about Wimp the other day.
Yeah.
I told him I ain't seen him, ain't heard from him. He doesn't care for me anymore. I really cried all over it. Yeah. Jimmy said that's kind of the way he's always been. I said, yeah.
Was Jimmy down there at Auburn with you? Was Jimmy hanging out with you down there at Auburn?
No.
You know, he just calls every once in a while. He's somewhere over
Arkansas, isn't he? He's in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
He's in
doing well.
Fort Smith.
Fort Smith, Arkansas, doing well.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish I could give you some information. I'm shooting my layups better, and my hook shot ain't working real good. But
so when you go to the games now, Sonny, now that you're not calling the games, do you just sit over there and coach, or what do you do?
Eat popcorn if they give me any. Just eat popcorn. I don't do anything. Eat popcorn, watch it play by play.
Y'all still having a tip-off club there like you used to?
No, I don't think so. Else they hadn't invited me to speak. Maybe they still have it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Barry and I.
Before you go, tell us who wins. Auburn, Texas A&M. Texas A&M's a 2.5-point favorite. Dad needs a blue plate. Which way should he go?
Playing at Auburn, Auburn's going to whip them.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's home.
Yeah,
y'all ain't won a conference game at home all year. This is the one.
He's a homer, Barry.
I can still be an Auburn fan, can't I?
Yeah, but
you can.
I'm picking Auburn to win this game.
You're a homer.
Wow.
I'm a homer, all right.
Yeah, you were a homer, always have been.
Auburn's going to win. Nice. Well, Coach, we're going to take you out.
You talking seriously, do we have a chance of beating Texas A&M in the eyes of the people?
The line's 2.5, yeah.
If the quarterbacks don't show up, you will.
Yeah.
If they show up, who won't?
No, if they come with a team, you won't.
Yeah.
Only guy with more personality than Wimp I ever met was Paul Feinbaum. I think.
Oh God!
Wow, that was a low.
That was a low blow.
Was that a blow? Was that a blow from the past? Right there?
You're getting him back for something saying that. You were mad about something.
You go. My day's over, isn't it?
Yeah, he said,
day's over.
We got a bad connection.
Yeah. That's right. All right, Sonny. We appreciate
you guys next week.
All right, Coach. Hey, thanks for introducing me to this song right here. Turn it up, Chase.
Hey.
That's good stuff, buddy.
That's Vern Gosden. He's one of the best ballad singers that ever lived.
Hackleburg, Alabama. Sonny James.
Hackleburg, Alabama. You're right. Who else? No, he's not from Hackleburg.
Thank you, Coach.
Sonny James is from Hackleburg.
Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Well, none of people allow me to be on the radio anymore. I don't know what's happening.
I'd say that was on our show, when we had our show together 6 years. I always say, it's the only one I knew, Sonny James from Hackleburg. I'd say it every time.
Let that play a little bit, Chase, even while he does his Bryant. Don't turn it too loud, but just kind of let it kind of soothe the background as he talks about Bryant Bank.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bryant Bank. Go ahead.
Bryant Bank. Bryant Bank has got the locations I talked about. Got several locations here in Birmingham, throughout the state of Alabama, and they are terrific. Personal account, business account, whatever it might be, you can bank online, and besides that, your money's going to be safe. Besides that, when you walk in the door, you're going to probably know the head banker. You're going to know all the people that work with him, and they're going to assist you in any way that you need assistance. I tell you, Bryant Bank's a good bank. I said I'm down there a great deal, and visited with them here in Birmingham, and I think you'll be feeling like that they're a homegrown bank and that they're your bank. And so hopefully you'll go by there and tell them you heard it on the inside of the market.
All right, crank it on up there, Chase. I thought Larry the Music Man was going to call in today and ask Sonny a question. I guess he's hanging out with Gary Harris down there trying to find out how to get in Innisfree because it's locked. They're down there roaming around trying to pull on the doors. Is he down there today? No day?
He's actually coming in. All
right. We'll let that play. We'll get to break. Open up the phone lines, 205-342-9904. The blue plate is out. Tennessee. Who's Tennessee playing again? Who is that blue plate?
1.5.
Who are they playing again?
University of Texas, El Paso.
Let's see if that line's changed. That's basketball. But actually, Tennessee's a 4.5-point favorite tonight in basketball. You want some money? Bet Tennessee on that.
Who they playing?
Baylor. 4.5. We just need to do a Chuck Norwood. We need to do a basketball. Do a basketball.
You can't win that stuff.
Go to chucknorwood.com. You're looking to buy or sell down in the Orange Beach, Gulf Shores area. Chuck's your guy. Go to chucknorwood.com or give him a call, 251-948-1212. He's sponsoring that blue plate special. That line's, what did we get it at yesterday, Chase? It's down to 40.5. It was 40. I think it went down a point. So there you go. All right, you listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. What a glorious Friday we've had thus far, and it just continues. Now, if you're traveling on 15th Street, you will find a tap on the brakes from time to time in both directions at Lurleen Wallace. And also moving about Lurleen Wallace, speaking of which, on the northbound lanes to McFarland, a little slow just in the immediate.
It has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sunny, breezy, and very cool today. The high 52. For tonight, the sky clear. Many spots will see a freeze early tomorrow morning. The low at 32. Tomorrow and Sunday, sunny both days. A warming trend. The high tomorrow 58. The high Sunday 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 41 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama Crimson Tide lives right here.
Down to the pylon. Touchdown, Alabama.
On Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker. All right, if you missed Coach Josh Wright in the first hour, we just kind of scooped him up. We needed a ground ball. He was ground ball. We scooped him up. He talked about the Pisgah game tonight. TA takes on Pisgah in the quarterfinal round, so should be a great crowd out there. Obviously, and then Coach Sonny Smith. We had Barry Switzer on yesterday. You can go to the podcast center there and listen to Coach Switzer. He was not very positive about the Oklahoma Sooners. But Brent Venables, we listened to a little bit of him. We'll go one more clip from Coach Venables. They asked him at the press conference his thoughts on Kalen DeBoer and the job he's done at Alabama this season. Obviously, coaches appreciate coaches and what they go through. And so I'm sure Brent Venables and Kalen DeBoer have a lot of respect for each other. But here's what Coach Venables had to say about Coach DeBoer.
So, Coach, you've obviously faced Alabama a few times over the years, but that was with Nick Saban as the head coach. Now you've got Kalen DeBoer. From the outside looking in, what do you see as DeBoer's imprint on the team, things that he's done maybe a little differently that stand out?
Yeah, obviously the DNA is different, what they're doing in all three phases, offense, defense, and their special teams. Successful a different type of way in some ways, and in some ways it's similar. You know, I think one of Kellen's strengths as a football coach, a very successful coach, is he takes a group of players that he has and he figures, and their staff, they figure out what they can do, and then you know, they major in that, you know, put them in position to be successful based on the players' strengths. So they've done a nice job of doing that throughout the course of the season, and but they look like Alabama of old in regards to the lines of scrimmage and the skill and the quarterback play, what they're doing on defense, the aggressiveness, forcing turnovers, those types of things. So some ways different, some ways not.
All right, there's Brent Venables, and we played a lot of that press conference, and he sounds like a coach that, to me, that still has that football team together. And I hadn't heard the players, but he was pretty grounded with all his comments there. He seemed to take responsibility for kind of what's going on, but he's building a program there. So, Dad, I think Oklahoma's going to be ready to play. Now, whether it's good enough or not, don't know. I do think they got a lot of guys hurt. May just be one of those years, but I do think early in the game will kind of tell if they have some success. I think you could be in for a little bit of a game there. If Alabama puts it on them early, then I think they could run away with it. So I look for Alabama to win the football game, but early will determine kind of how it goes throughout.
Yeah, I think so. I think getting off to a good start is big. That's always said. Everybody says that, but I think in this particular case, it probably is. And Alabama, over the long haul of the game, will, I think, win the football game. I think it's 13.5 points. I don't know. And I think they'll probably cover the line. So we'll see, and then they'll come back and they're able to do that. They'll still be in the fight. If something were to happen, that they were to go south in this game, and of course they would probably be out, regardless of what they did against Auburn. So,
yeah, this is a playoff game for Alabama.
It would make it. Even though it's Auburn, it would make it a little bit more difficult to get ready for Auburn. Even so, as you look down the line. Not only is the game that, a playoff game, it's a game involving also your mental state when you play your big arch rival in Auburn.
All right, this Ole Miss Florida game, I've been trying to get that third loss on Ole Miss. It just don't look like it's going to happen. It just does not go, because I'm going to have to rely on Chase's Mississippi State Bulldogs if Florida can't get it done, and there ain't no chance of that.
Oh, they ain't got no chance.
No chance.
Ale State.
No, Chase. Come on, man. But is that game on Thanksgiving? They always play that game early.
It's a night game.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. You'll eat some turkey and go to sleep. Eat a lot of turkey, go to sleep. But anyway, that line has down in Gainesville is moving to 12. So that ain't good for me and Ole Miss losing. Dad, number one, can Florida win this game? Or number two, can they cover the 12 if they don't?
Oh, they already gone to 12 now?
Yes, 12.
I think they can. I don't think it'll be easy. Ole Miss is going to score any way they can. They're one of these kind of teams that if it's 4th and 4 on the 25-yard line, they go for it. They don't kick the field goal. So that means that the field goals are out, the touchdowns are in. And when you look at that, it means that they're allowed to score a lot of points. So I would say it'll be very, very hard on Florida. But I tell you, going to Florida and playing in Gainesville is a hard place to play, regardless of how your team is. And the expectation factor for the Florida fans after they extended his contract, didn't extend it, but okayed it, and getting beat by Texas the way he got beat was a bad deal, because they had played somewhat better against Georgia. So I think this is going to be they're not going to let him go, but it's going to going to be a big game.
Are they going to cover the 12? I'm sorry, while we were talking, it went to 12.5. It's going up. It's going to be 20 before the game kicks.
Yeah.
Georgia may be the same boat as Tennessee. That line's 42. They're playing UMass, but I think Georgia needs to smack them as well just to kind of keep that committee thinking. So that 42, that might not be a bad bet. UMass only won 2 games all year. Well, Georgia covered the 42.
I didn't know whether it would or not. I thought they had the running backs hurt, and I thought maybe they were. I just thought Tennessee could have a better chance of scoring the big numbers.
Well, that line went down a point. It went down to 40.5. So, Kentucky and Texas, that line's 20.
It was 20.5.
Yeah, it's 20 now.
I started to bet that one, but I kept looking away. I kept thinking Texas is good by name, but are they good by team? The name is good, and their coach is good, and they got a good quarterback. He doesn't jive with them all the time. Sometimes on things, the more I looked at, I almost went Texas game, and I lost my guts. I just felt like but now I look back at Kentucky, tried to study them. Played Tennessee to a 10-point game, beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss. That doesn't mean anything, but it does. To me, it means that they have the ability to play well at times. That's what it meant to me. That doesn't, you can't compare scores.
All right, does Alabama cover the 13.5?
Yes.
I think they do too. I think that's where, if I were shoving it all in this weekend, I'd probably shove it in on Bama. That means Oklahoma probably win.
You're probably right.
A&M, 2.5. This Auburn finally, is Sonny Smith right? He don't even know who they're playing, but he picked Auburn. Is he right? Is this the one week that Auburn finally puts it together? It's Peyton Thorne's last game, thank goodness.
Well, A&M's going to keep you from scoring now.
So you're
going to do it. They're going to keep you from. They're going to keep your scoring at a minimum. You're not going to have a lot of scoring against A&M. They may not.
Auburn's got a pretty good defense. Auburn does have a good defense.
Boy, they do. They do.
So
it's going to be probably a little bit more of a defensive battle than we think.
If you bet on Auburn, you ought to have your head examined.
No, you can't. Bet on Auburn.
All right, here's the most intriguing game to me. Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia. He's suing NCAA. He wants another year. They're going to LSU. Night game. LSU is only a 7.5-point favorite. That a half might burn you. Surely LSU can cover against Vanderbilt at home, or does LSU quit?
LSU's quit.
Ooh.
Probably. The game for me is we just knock them all the time, even though they're good, is the Indiana-Ohio State game.
That line's down. It's 10.5.
Yeah. So Ohio State, every time you get on a radio show, they say they should score more than they do. They should win by a bigger margin than they win by. And then you turn to Indiana and you say, well, they got a schedule so weak. It's a work schedule. I studied it a little bit. You can't do anything about your conference schedule, but they did have weak opponents in non-conference.
Well, and then they were down 10-0. You said, they're about to get beat, and they won 47-10. All right, so we'll take this break and wrap up the show. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. What a glorious Friday we've had thus far, and it just continues. Now, if you're traveling on 15th Street, you will find a tap on the brakes from time to time in both directions at Lurleen Wallace. And also moving about Lurleen Wallace, speaking of which, on the northbound lanes to McFarland, a little slow.
Has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sunny, breezy, and very cool today. The high 52. For tonight, the sky clear. Many spots will see a freeze early tomorrow morning. The low at 32. Tomorrow and Sunday, sunny both days. A warming trend. The high tomorrow 58. The high Sunday 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 41 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
two-time state champion and two-time NIT champion, Barry Sanderson breaks down the latest in sports on Inside the Locker Room on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. It's been a good week. We appreciate everybody listening, all the phone calls, the guest. Chase, getting those clips for us. Those Brent Venables clips were good today. Here's something different than Alabama's coach. Tonight, guys, you want to watch a little hoop. There's some good SEC games tonight. Pittsburgh takes on LSU. They're playing up in West Virginia. Pitt, 6.5-point favorite. Seton Hall, who beat VCU last night in overtime, Ryan Odom's team. They take on Vanderbilt tonight. Vanderbilt favoring that game. That's a little bit shocking on ESPN2. Jackson State takes on the surprise team of the SEC, Kentucky. Kentucky's a 34.5-point favorite. That game's in Rupp Arena. Southern Illinois, Florida. That game's down in Gainesville. Pacific and Missouri are in Columbia. Mississippi State, SMU playing out in Dallas. Little Rock and Arkansas are playing tonight. That's a little different. Have they been playing?
So what, son? I'm sorry.
Little Rock's playing Arkansas tonight. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I'll be on SEC Network at 8 o'clock in Bud Walton. Texas, they're up in Brooklyn at the Barclays, so they'll take on St. Joseph. And then on CBS Sports tonight, that's 2:21 if you're on DirecTV. Baylor and Tennessee. Pretty interesting game there in the SEC. Next week, some great games. Auburn takes on Iowa State, and Alabama takes on Houston out in Las Vegas. All right, that's it for today's show. We'll get out of here, and we will make way for the Gary Harris Show. So keep it locked in all day long. Is Gary coming in here? Is he doing it? He's coming in. All right, I'll get everything ready for Gary. You know, the Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great day, everybody.